This was the agenda there, and we started with the welcome remarks from Abhishek Mathur, who gave good insights on how design is shaping the future of businesses. And he even talked about the latest Figma features that are being introduced to help products thrive and go from the ideating stage to execution stage, because Figma has it all now and it's evolving day by day. There were 7,000 registrations for the event. 1,000 were in to attend the offline event, and the FOF leaders were already invited there. So it was very special from for me and Suhail, where we attended as leaders. Next, this was the biggest market launch in Figma's history. Now, we had in the agenda, we had three massive things. First was how Digital India is elevating UX, wherein we got to hear from the CTO of CTO of Digital India Corporation, who was Debabrata Nayak. Next was the panel discussion, which was for building products for a billion Indian users, and where we got to hear the product leaders from Swiggy and PhonePe and Infosys. Next was the fireside chat, which we had with the CEO of Mintra, where she talked good insights about building India's fashion future. So let's dive in. Figma in India. India is Figma's second largest active users market globally. Now, the largest FOF community across the globe, and we all are part of it. So, yes, that's an honor. Next, the government of India is utilizing Figma in all of its design things, because if you all know that in UX 4G was launched few months back, and now the Indian government is also using the design systems that are created in Figma and designing in Figma. And with the help of those design systems, we have apps that we use all every day. That is DigiYatra or DigiLocker, the COVID app that we used in the COVID times. Now, PhonePe is designing for tier 6 cities in India. We all have heard about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, but imagine designing for tier 6 cities. Now, how massive that is. Um, yeah. Now, let's go to the next one, wherein key insights from the event: designing in today's world, Figma features, product thinking, design system importance, and design dev efficiency. Let's deep dive into designing in today's world. In a world where building software is so easy, design becomes the differentiator. Now, design has become more important to the success of AI powered products, because if everybody can create just by a prompt, now do you really call yours like it a superpower? Designers are now also involved in defining the product strategy and business vision. Two major things that Abhishek Mathur rightly said was good enough is now not enough. Good enough is mediocre. Like if you want to stand out, you have to think beyond just UI and just the design. Design is everyone's business, but we own it. Now, the new features of Figma, first was integration with ChatGPT. In ChatGPT, just type Figma and just tell it to brainstorm some idea that you have. It will create a FigJam board, and you can simply go ahead and edit that FigJam board and start over your ideation part. Next, few days back, Figma also launched, added two new features to it. One was Figma Slides from ChatGPT, and the next was some marketing, social media creatives, which ChatGPT and Figma can make. Next was integration with VV. This is again for creating multiple assets, uh, right from the flow that you have created. So just replace one object and it will go through the same flow, and you will have your assets ready. Some more, two my favorites were Code Connect and Check Design. Code Connect is simply allows you to click on the design element, and it gives back you the code that you want to have in your development part, and you just have to select the framework. Next is Check Designs. Check Designs is again for the design systems, wherein we can just use the check design, which will validate that have we used our design system correctly or not across our project. So that saves a lot of time and a lot of mistakes. Next is design system importance. Now, design system is really very important. Now, when we create the user experience of massive products, is simply not about user journeys, not about the features. It's all about scalability and performance. And that scalability comes from a well-defined design system. If we don't have a good design system, then we might go very fast in extremely wrong directions. So that is very important. Now, having clarity on the design system is really very important. Now, when we have AI to help us write some code based on the design system makes all the difference. Now, having clarity on the design system helps us to
I think we just might have messed her over here. She'll just rejoin in a bit. Until then, if you guys have any questions, you can just drop it in the chat, and yeah, let's make it interactive. The chat is all yours, guys. Spam anything you want, ask anything you want, no worries. And yeah, I would also like to thank Suhel Khira, lead at Friends of Figma Vadodara, for setting the context so well and giving us a solid kickoff for today's session. Really appreciate that. And yeah, Hani will be rejoining soon. Just a second. Okay, so we'll just wait for Hani and continue our session in a while. All right, moving into our contributors case study sessions. Our first segment is the UPI revolution by Manoj Nakum, UX manager at Koro
okay.
UX
I
Design.
am back.
Okay, so we do have Hani back. Great.
Somehow,
Claps
somehow
for
the
her in the chat,
audio
guys.
dropped. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue.
Cool, cool. Yeah, let's continue.
Yeah,
I'll give it to you, Hani.
thanks. All right. Uh, okay, there we were discussing the design systems, and I was talking about how design systems can simply help us when we use AI while designing things. Because now in Figma Make, many of us are aware that you just have your design systems uploaded in Figma, and then it creates the designs exactly with the using the design system that you have created. So let's go to product thinking part, which again I got to learn in the Figma event. Now build product that scale and have our brand and the empathy of our customers. Next was product design isn't now just about shaping products; it's driving business, it's driving operations, and it's driving culture. The most successful products are built that combine AI, technology, behavioral science, and a great user experience. So yes, to have a good product, one part is not enough. We have to be good at each and every aspect of it. Design dev engineering, the handoffs that we have. And let's see, in the past we had these three groups wherein product manager used to give some requirement to the design team to engineering team, and engineering team gives it back to the PM after designing. Now the things are changing, and today we all collaborate with each other, the designers, PMs, engineers, and the future is for the makers. So Abhishek Mathur called all of us as makers, and now moving ahead, designers and engineers will definitely have to work really very closely. And not only designers, engineers should also have a deep understanding of what they are building and who they are building for. We can elevate designs into operational assets, right? Like as I shared about the design systems, asset within an organization, which drives speed, structure, and reducing the engineering time by nearly 30%. So yeah. Next, there are a few questions to ask yourself as makers of the product. First is, who will be using this feature? Are we able to deliver the experience at every part of the product journey? Now, while working on the smallest feature enhancement, am I aware of the impact that it will have on the product? Because feature small or big, it will definitely have an impact on the product. Now, who we are as a platform. So we need to ask these questions to ourselves when we are working on any product or design. Now, there are a few quotes that made an impact from the panel discussions that we had. First was from Bindya Raje. She said that when creativity and technology comes together, I believe that's where the magic happens, and that's true. Next was from Rahul Gonzalez. He said that care for your product now, care it like your baby. And he said that constantly expanding your horizons is another aspect of craft, because you don't know one thing today, and if you just look up and try to learn some new things, you'll be up with 10 new things more. So yes. Next was from Anuj Rathi. He said that if you don't care, do you really want to excel in this field? And the last one, this statement was my personal favorite, which is, when the customer is not using my product, how do I get into the brain so that they come back and use it again and again? So this is really massive. Like, build a product which the user cannot resist but use. Yeah. Next, she is Nandita Sinha, CEO of Mintra. She talked a lot about taking initiatives. So she said that you put your hand up and you are set to do the new things. So it's all about taking initiatives. And she was with Flipkart few years back. So she said that if you slash my skin, I would bleed blue. And few years back, and now I will bleed pink, because now she is with Mintra. So basically, she wants to say that the product which you're working on, the brand that we are working on, should be in your veins, and you should be able to speak that product at any point of time. That's it. This was being around the design leaders. Me and Suhail were there in this, and you can spot us in this picture. So these were the leaders from all the parts of the country. Next. Thank you. This were the insights from the latest Figma event that happened in Bangalore. And what stood out to me was the most is that designing for India is not just about UI and aesthetics. It's about context, culture, accessibility, and scale. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Sujay.
Thank- Thanks a lot, Hani, for breaking that down so clearly. Everyone, let's show some appreciation in the chat with claps or emojis for Hani's session. All right, moving on to our contributors case study sessions. And first of all, we have our first segment, that is the UPI Revolution by Manoj Nakum, UX manager at Koro UX Design. Manoj will be sharing insights around how UPI has shaped user behavior and product experiences in India. Manoj, over to you, and folks, same thing, drop reactions in the chat as we go. Yeah, welcome to you, Manoj.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm setting my screen. Let
Stage is all
us
yours.
everyone see the screen. Okay, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, Manoj.
Okay, great. Okay, so I think everyone is older than 18 years, more than 18 years, so everyone knows what was it before UPI and what it is now. But still, there are few aspects that we still don't know, that how UPI has affected that segment, or how it has changed the life, how it has changed the experience, how it has changed India's digital economy sector. Okay, so today we will deep dive into those parts. Some of you may know this, but some of you may not. So let's learn that how UPI is shaping the India's digital economy, and how it is creating an ecosystem which is not just only revolutionizing digital payment, but also affecting lot of product that depends on it, and it is creating the job market for a lot of people. Okay, so I think it's not- okay, so what were some problems before the UPI launched? Okay, before 2016, India's market was mostly the cash dominant. There was a debit card, checks, NEFT, and IMPS, but still the 72% payment were done in the cash. And not only this, but due to the cash flow and rotation, it was also, the black market, the black money. We will not talk about those things, but people still were hoarding the cash, okay, because they had not the trust in the bank. And this cash printing, circulation, all that was costing a lot of money, like 3.5 US dollar annually to the RBI. Okay, so uh, another aspect was that banking service. Okay, so only half the population of India were using the banking service, and banks had this long line. This is the State Bank of India, not to diminish anything, but this is the state of the lines you were seeing in the banks. Even if you had to deposit the cash, okay, or you have to create a demand draft or whatever service you want. And uh, ATM came in the market, but it was not successful in the particularly the rural area where there was one ATM and hardly it was working or hardly there was a cash in it. It is better in urban, but still the ATM, sometimes you might have faced the problem. The money is not there, connectivity is not there. There are a lot of issues. And NEFT and IMP, these are the service only few people knew, and it was chargeable. So the less people were using. But the biggest barrier was the language issue. Okay, net banking was there, but it was mostly in English or Hindi, not all the language. When I say all, I know there are hundreds of language in India, but it is still not possible to translate in each and every language. Okay, so that was the biggest barrier. So what was the vision? So vision was that, okay, the government wanted to build a digital economy network which would include all the kind of people from metro, from large city to the rural. Okay, uh, educated, non-educated, okay, any kind of. So they wanted to focus on inclusive design, and the goal was that, okay, the main payment accessible to everyone. Okay, you don't have to deal with technical jargons or long forms or any kind of thing. It should be very easy for anyone. Okay, so that was the initial design philosophy. And then came the existence of UPI. So in the 2016, UPI network launched, and why it got successful the way it is right now. Okay, so the main reason was the interoperability of UPI. It works with any bank. Right now you don't have to worry about that. Okay, I have account in one bank and another person an account in another bank, because before that it was an issue that even if you create a check, the check passing or check clearing time was like 3 to 5 days for other banks, 2 to 3 days for the same networking and all that. But UPI come as the interoperability which focuses on that you can transfer from any bank's account to any bank's account your money. Okay, and the core flow was very simple. You scan the QR code, you put the amount, and you enter your PIN. Okay, very straightforward. Nothing complex like enter the account number, IFSC code, and all those jargon that we had to use in the IMPS or NTS. Okay, and currently there are UPI Litex as well. Okay, these are the services that UPI has provided, which also works without internet. Right, you can make this kind of transaction without internet up to 500 rupees, which is also helpful. And currently, in the October, UPI has launched the Hello UPI, which is voice enabled. Okay, people who can't see or the people who mainly focus on voice, or the people who are visually impaired, they can also use this service Hello UPI. Okay, we will see in the down the line how it works. And the biggest benefit for us as a user was that you can add multiple bank account in one of your UPI app, whichever app, right? It doesn't matter you are using Google Pay, Phone Pay, or official UPIs, Beam app, right? You don't have to download 5 different banking app if you have 5 different account, right? Everything comes in the one account. So that's why it is very popular and it was very successful, right? Because it was every day, right? Every day people are using multiple times UPI, right? You go to the vegetable vendor, to the pani puri stall, momos, wherever you go, shopping, right? You can use the UPI. So that's why it is right now the successful the way it is. Now, how did this simple usability of this app help and how did it scale? So currently 70% of the population is using the UPI. Okay. Generally, the transaction takes less than 10 seconds, the whole process. You just scan the QR code, enter the amount, and enter the PIN. It nearly takes 10 seconds. It would take more than 10 seconds as well if the people are still struggling with the language barrier or they are not that much educated or somehow. But overall, 10 seconds is the time that it takes for the transaction. Sometimes less than it, sometimes more than it, but around it. And people with low literacy, right? Those who don't know IFSC code or those who don't know banking number and all that, the QR code is very no-brainer, right? You don't have to do anything. You just scan the QR code. That helps even our grandparents use the UPI, right? Even in today's time, they use the UPI, ask them to do the bank transfer, and they will struggle it, right? Because there are so many fields, there are so many things, but they know this QR scan, they know this thing, okay, and it is very easy for them to use this. And multilingual support, that was the biggest benefit of the UPI network. Currently, Google Pay or Phone Pay, this kind of application is available in 22 different languages, right? Most of the population which use different languages been covered. Yeah, there are still the hundreds of language which is not there, but you also know technically how much difficult. But covering 22 language has made that okay, most of the population is using this app. And biggest success came that people, the vendor, okay, the merchant started using it, right? If you go to some restaurant before 2016, you had to ask that, do you accept the credit card or debit card? And you got an answer, no, we just accept only cash, right? But people started adopting the UPI. Even the Pani Puri store, which just 20, 30 rupees, they also accept the UPI, right? So as it was become accessible by merchant, now people have also started believing that, okay, that they can even go out of the home without their wallet and they will not face any difficulty. Mostly 99% it is the true. There is 1% where your auto rickshaw driver might not accept the UPI or any wallet. You just have to do the cash. But those are some different issues. But nowadays you can go out of your home without wallet. Okay. And biggest benefit was that it is available 24 by 7. Bank open from certain time to certain time. Right? You don't have to wait for do this kind of transaction or online transaction. You can do this transfer kind of thing from UPI. And now the limit is up to 1 lakh, or some bank even give 5 lakhs for some bill payment, right? So you can do this large transaction without going to the bank. So that is how the simple UX has helped in adoption of the UPI. Now, after the launching, obviously, no app is the first time successful, right? There was some iteration, there was some research. So how and it came into existence. So the utility-based study shows that okay, in the 5 year, why it was success. So previously version launch was in Hindi and English, but they got the feedback that okay, language barrier issue. So nowadays, these are the top 4 applications that you can see. You can see almost each and every popular language here. Okay, you can change the language. So that was the biggest success, that previously 2 language and now 22 language. That was not easy. Okay, they came via feedback, so they iterated on that and they have started including more language. Uh, Another thing was the inclusive design. So people like us, they know the small things, hover and all this thing, right? But people who have low literacy, they were facing issue like this tap and scan in the beam mapping. It was very small. They were accidentally clicking here and there. So they got this kind of feedback. Okay, beam. And you see, now they have just put the scan button here. One, nothing else. If you see the phone page previous layout, which is crumbled with lot of features, now they have just straightened out that, okay, your main function like transferring and everything and bill payment, and you see the large scale capable area, that plays the role. That was came after the study, came after the feedback. And oh, let me see. Are you able to hear the voice as well that is coming from video? Can someone confirm? No? Okay. Let me just add it with audio. Okay. Might have an issue, so I will not waste more time, but let's just see the video. So as you can see, just a small command, hey, send 200 rupees to, let's say, Yes or Honey, and it just access your contact, favorite contact, something. I know first name and last name you have to speak, but it's just easy. You don't have to enter the amount and all that. It just send it. Okay. So Hello UPI is launched, and Paytm and Google Pay are the one who are adopting right now. And you might see in the near future, like January, February, they are launching for the general public, but this is being tested. Another was this UPI Lite, where you can do the transaction without internet, without the need of PIN. Okay, so you can do up to the 2,000 rupees transaction now. Okay, 500 rupees per each transaction, but for a day you can spend 2,000. There are various ways you can do this pinless transaction by scanning QR or sending directly the number. And these are the top three private sector player who have built their applications on UPI network. And PhonePe is the most popular, which cover 46% market. So nearly half of UPI transactions are done on PhonePe, and Google Pay is 36, and Paytm is 10. So if you combine these three, they rule 92% of the UPI transaction. And there are 40 more applications which just cover 8%. Network is open to all, but see why this player got successful, because they heard the user's feedback. They innovated on top of UPI's network, right? So sometimes you might have the network, but you have to add your users feedback. You have to take care of the consideration that what user are facing and solve them, right? So that is the top three player. Just benefit of this UPS, it has created a scale. Like currently there are 684 national, PSU, private, and regional level bank on the UPI network. Okay, even small banks like Rajkot Sahakari Cooperative, that is available, which is not available for online transfer, but it is available on UPI. And nearly 50 crore people, that's like 40% of the population, have UPI account. And there are 20 products associated with the UPI, like UPI Lite, Tap and Pay, then Rupee debit cards, the voice box that merchant use for transaction and all that. So these are nearly, this ecosystem is created just because of the UPI network. And the largest benefit was for the RBI. They have saved 67 USD billions rupees since 2016. In 10 years, they have saved this much rupees. And now UPI has also started providing this micro loan for the UPI provider, which has boosted the loan consumer as well. If you need a phone, if you have a Rupee credit card or UPI account, you can get. Not everyone, but the people who have good credit score, they are starting to use this service. Okay, the no cost EMI and all that. Previously, we had to rely on Bajaj Finance and other banks' credit card, but now on UPI as well, you can get the micro loan. So these are some benefits that UPI has created in the Indian economy. Okay, that's all, guys. Thank you for listening to me.
Thanks, Manoj. That was super insightful. Chat, if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat right now in the Google Meet chat, and we'll take it up in the end also the Q&A session. So yeah, you can just address the speaker you are asking the question to, and we'll take it up in the end. Okay. So yeah, let's move on to our next talk. Next up, we have impact of UX on subscription models. So now you know how UPI has evolved and changed the world. Now let's see where our money goes and our wallets drain and how people make them do it. By Kevil Darji, UX engineer and AI software sales associate at Beverage Trade Network. Kevil will walk us through how UX decisions influence subscription adoption and retention. Kevil, the floor is all yours. Welcome to the
Yeah. Thank
Friends
you
of
so
Figma.
much, Ruben.
Yeah.
I really appreciate. I hope I'm audible to everyone. And
Yes, Kevil, you are.
so, yeah, that's great. I can see many familiar faces in the chat as well as hello to everyone. My name is Kevil Darji. So, let's start it. I'll try to make it a bit insightful within short period of time. So, actually, I was told to complete it as soon as possible. But as I'm a UX designer, I'll cut through it. Cool. So first of all, as you can know, impact of UX on subscription models. So how many of you have rage quitted an application like just not because it was expensive, it was so annoyed, you got so many pop-ups They literally deleted the application throughout, right? This moment has happened with every one of us. So in today's talk, this is about subscription don't fail because of pricing, but they fail because of UX shows up too late. And by late, I mean like I can say Avengers, when the Avengers come to avenge, it's a bit late and the Thanos has already won. That's kind of situation. So in this, like if we see the subscription models on the larger side, it's like Indian users specifically, they don't worry about paying 129 rupees every single month, but they would always think to save 20, 30 rupees on Swiggy, Zomato, and such kind of situation. So Indian market, it's a bit tough to nail for subscription models. And that is how we'll see some examples. For example, of Swiggy and YouTube Premium and how do they made mistakes and how did they came out of it. So let's see a small table of context. First of all, we'll see why subscription fail with UX. What is the mental model behind subscription, specifically in Indian market? Then we'll see a few examples and a common pattern that I've noted. And I see many of you would agree that that's a common pattern between subscription failures. Cool, that's enough. Let's start with why UX fails. First of all, you will see like there are multiple features while UX is not great. We see the design is not great. We see the annoying clicks, annoying pop-ups. So first of all, what teams really do, what they miss, it's like feature thinking first. Teams design, plan, they fix the pricing, they make it like frictionless, and then UX is later on. So as I mentioned earlier, UX is added late. So that is what they never keep in mind. They decide everything first and then the UX is added. So I think like UX should be added within the problem and within the feature thinking first and whatever features we might introduce. Then it is like value is explained, not felt. Everyone likes to promote their marketing websites like they have achieved something, but at the end it's a wrap around ChatGPT, nothing else. So it's not like you have to explain your value on pricing pages, on every other marketing stuff or bluff or Instagram promotions. You don't have to do that. Instead, you have to make a habit. That is what nowadays subscription model fails. It's one of the prime reasons I think where it fails. Secondly, decisions are forced too early. So at the very start, I'm asked to pay 39 rupees, 40 rupees for XYZ services. And after that, I don't really know how to do it. So those decisions create friction. Now, by friction, I mean like when a user is asked a question and they think, okay, what's the decision should I make? So don't do it bit early. Let user give some space. Let them move around the application. Let them figure out what is what. And after that, when they are really dependent on X, Y, or Z feature, then you introduce the subscription model. So that is another place where it fails. And it's really worse to hear when we see we see like UX as compared to UI, right? It has happened to us a lot where everyone thinks just make it bit aesthetic and it would be UX. It's not like that. So UX is not just decoration. The one where decoration is involved, it's about convenience. And one where it's conversion UX, it actually removes friction. It actually removes decisions for user. So it's a no-brainer for user to buy 129 rupees right away and without even thinking about whatever service is getting. It's not about what they see, it's about what they feel. So that is a major point where some applications don't get it and the subscription models fail. So one of the prime examples we have live in front of us is YouTube that we use every single day for streaming and Swiggy. So YouTube and Swiggy have been known for the testing in the entire industry. So for example, if anyone could remember, there was a 2.5 minute advertisement without no skips. That thing frustrated out in front of every users and everyone was ranting on Twitter like, what is this? How can you do that? So ads are not bad. I'm not telling ads are bad and they should be removed. Ads are prime way to get revenue and prime way to get like users insights out of it. It's totally good. But there should be a way of introducing ads. So that is what YouTube tested and eventually they figure out a way out of it. So yeah, that's a prime example. So in case of YouTube Premium and like getting normal YouTube, when users actually lost intent, why were they, getting this video? They got frustrated. They were here to enjoy Avengers Doomsday League, and instead they are just watching 2.5 minutes ad. So it's like ad is bigger than the video. So that is why users lost intent, and then the premium feeling that they are getting something out of it. So here, premium in normal YouTube, it's watching a video. They're providing a service. So in these terms, like they're not feeling it. They feel like this is a punishment. They have to watch a 2.5 minute video. They refresh it again. The 2.5 minute video plays again. So that's a no brainer for user. I would literally press Control W and close the tab right away. So that is what happened with YouTube, and users basically escape instead of upgrading. That is what their plan was. They felt like I would introduce ad over there. User would be frustrated. They say, let's skip the ad, buy the premium, but that didn't happen. That basically was the opposite way around, where users literally escaped the particular platform and they switched to something else. So now in this terms, like there's a pattern if you see where there was a friction for the advertisement. The way it was introduced, friction caused users left. Their subscription failed. Same happened with Swiggy. When if you have ordered something into your cart, right? I've ordered like MacD, I've ordered McDonald's. So I'm already making decisions. Being an indecisive person who cannot decide right on point if we have multiple options available. So we choose every single thing, every single detail at the end when we come at checkout. Now, checkout means the last step. That is what we have in our mind. That's the last step that I gotta do. So on that very point, you see this coupon, like save 40 rupees with Swiggy One. So instead, let me transcribe this for you. You are paying money to save money. So that Indians are not really dumb if we think. They also figure out they do business quite well. So they thought, okay, I'm saving money plus I'm also giving money. So what's the point? So even though like applications and they had done well research out of it, but again, there's a way to introduce such things where you don't provide users such Swiggy One benefits at the very end of the checkout, where they've already made decisions, they're finalized, they are thinking, okay, I'll pay and I'll eat and enjoy my MacD. Right at the moment, boom, Swiggy 40 rupees, Swiggy One promotion is showed. So what basically happens here? Completion flow breaks. When I was about to check out, the flow broke and I was like, what the hell is this? Let me switch to Zomato now. Right away, user lost. Then value feels like a bit punitive, right? In terms of punitive, I can say like what's the value for that particular application? What's their KPIs? So over there, it feels like okay, this is a bit tricky for me. They are like using tactics. They want to get my money. So they don't understand the value of platform, what they're providing. They directly switch to the computers, right? On the competitors, I'm sorry. Right, very at that position. So that is where the value is lost. And at the end, trust breaks late. So you have made very well UX. You have done everything. It was good. But at the end, what happened? Trust broke. So that is the main idea where users are, cannot focus very well and why UX fails. So the next step is like in India, where users what is the mental model of users and how the subscription are made. So users, being a user, I don't wake up every single day and think today I'll buy subscription of ChatGPT. It's not like that. I'll be using the application, I'll be particularly habitual to it, and then I'll think, okay, I need to get ChatGPT again. So in those ways, like these platforms like YouTube and Swiggy, what Prime user is doing, it's like eat, watch, listen, continue, next video, next particular restaurant, whatever. Nobody downloads YouTube to admire the pricing page. So there's no point of putting value over there. You can put clear information over there, that's all. So main point, early friction awareness that creates awareness in user where, okay, you have given me a decision. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. Let me use the application. So if you do that, you give early decisions in the very starting point. Okay, that's fine. But at the end, very late friction, if you give, then it is anger and particular frustration. You'll get tweets on the Twitter where you would be people would be ranting on your application like, what the hell is this? Negative reviews and XYZ. So the mental model has three basic things. That is continuity. Don't interrupt the user. Never let them think, okay, user experiences interrupting them. There is something friction. Don't let that happen. Second is early and late friction. Third is value. You don't show your value by graphics and all. You show it by some small delivery fees that you have seen already, where users don't trust the plain cards, the feature list. They show what they really feel, what the moments they live through, right? So I think that is the main point where these, I can say, the subscription models usually go through. So going to the next point, I generally believe when we are getting to buy something, so there's always steps to it. What YouTube and Swiggy did, the Indian way to retain users, I might say, it is basically protect continuity, surface friction in a way at early stages, so it stays with the user, show relief. Okay, now you are totally fine, you can continue with our application, reduce user efforts. And then when these things are maintained, the final step, that is like building a habit, that would be done. And trust me, that is a gold mine for every single application. This is where the user is retained, building a habit. Once you have built an habit, that is where you have retained most of the user base. And then subscription arrives. So that is like cherry on top. So you are already willing to eat cherry, and we are giving you that. Same happened with Swiggy. They protected the intent. They surface savings. Now, instead of showing them, you can say 40 rupees, you can say 40 rupees with Swiggy One. Instead, they starting showing applications where you can apply any coupon codes and XYZ. They reduce the efforts. They improve the checkout UI. They built an habit, which everyone nowadays has used. I'm pretty sure about it. So, and then they showed the relief. Okay, fine. Like, this is really good. So at the end, the membership arrives. So finally, where YouTube, what did they do? What did YouTube really do? First of all, they restored control. They reduced a surprise at instant pop-up, and they let it relieve. Okay, finally, I can enjoy my video. I can enjoy Avengers Doomsday League. So that is great. And when this everything was applied, people stopped rate scrolling, they watched longer, and then they paid. So it is, YouTube ads aren't bad, it is like unexpected ads are bad. That is what I think from my end. And same happened for Swiggy. When users didn't stop to evaluate Swiggy One, users didn't stop to evaluate Swiggy One. Users experience that basically ordering felt predictable. Okay, I would add this, I would add this, and this would happen. Ordering other stuff, everything was pretty calm. Then paying felt calmer, saving felt practical. So basically, they can see, okay, I can save a shitload of money, so I can. It is really easy for me. And at the end, where what YouTube did and what Swiggy did, it turns out silence sells. So you don't have to make much chaos out of it. Basically, the more silent it is, the more selling it would go for. And if you have noticed the pattern, it is all about protecting the intent, then friction appears early, value is felt, and control drives conversion. So in terms, I can say like if you don't follow this, it's like telling the wedding photographer to save your own wedding. So wedding cannot be saved. Good photos can come, but that's between you and your wife. So these are the common patterns that really drive Indian market for subscription models. And good UX don't convince user; it just stops getting in their way. So yeah, the final note I'd like to make, I wouldn't take this long. I've already added it along, so I know that. But when UX removes friction, subscriptions don't need selling. And in terms of Indian users, that people are thinking Indian users are dumb, they are not. Because in India, users don't subscribe quietly, they uninstall with feelings. So that is what we need to make sure. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the subscription models. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Kevil. Really well put up. Everyone, quick emoji applause in the chat for Kevil's session. Up next, we have UX behind Zomato by Yash Verma. He'll mainly walk you through like how UX decisions behind one of the most widely used Indian apps is working. And Yash Verma is right now an associate UI UX designer at Trizon Communications Private Limited. Over to you, Yash. Welcome to
Yeah,
the event.
thank you. So hello guys, just a second. Okay. So today I'm talking about UX behind the Zomato. So I'll be presenting how to focus and how it design build the better specifically for Indian nowadays. Almost all of you guys use Zomato on a daily basis. So there is a reason it's a good it has a good UX and what research the Zomato did. It can achieve this good UX. So talking about why design for India matters. So when we say design for India, we are not talking about for a single type of user. India is it is an extreme diverse in language. There are multiple language and and also there are very different food habits across all the India. And also there is wearing tech comfort some of the people has a very low end mobile. So in that mobile also the Zomato is designed in such a way that it can run very easily. And then that in India in many regions right now also there is only the 3G connectivity also. In that also that the Zomato is very Zomato is uh, very easy to use. So yeah, understanding the user behavior. So first, it is a highly price sensitive as an Indian. So we first see the price it is driven very deals, coupons, and value combos. And then it should be the driven the ratings, the reviews matters most to the user. The ratings and it is very hygiene and all. If we talk about that, so it builds the trust with the user. And there are also many first time users if we use if someone is using the Zomato first time, so they don't need any guidance. It is very easy to use. And then they prefer reordering the food they would they love a lot. If we want to reorder any food, so it is very easy. And it is just normally shows in recent searches and all. And as Manoj discussed earlier also that nowadays UPI is booming. So through the UPI we can we can make the payment of the food and order the food very easily. So the real question is how can Indian users how can Indian users order food quickly, confidently, and repeatedly? So there are there are many options. There are thousands of restaurants, so users suffers lots of choices, and they overwhelmed with the choices. And there is also the fear of bad food, if it is be hygienic or not and all, and if it tastes good. So and after that they need the quick decision. And as the user open the Zomato, he or she is very hungry, so they need a quick decision. And there is the limited time and attention there should be needed. So the design goal that the Zomato had figured out, they have to reduce the friction, reduce anxiety, and increase the repeatability. So how Zomato solved this? How Zomato solved this is they keep the rating upfront, to build the trust and the confidence at the glance, that to reduce the fear of the bad food. And secondly, we can say that they showed the tempting food images, so that it is it reduces the uncertainty and speeds up the choices for the visual thinkers, which is very important in the for the better UX. And then as I talked earlier, smart reordering, in only one or two taps we can order the food again, which I had ordered earlier last week. And then it should be one hand usability, critical actions placed in the thumb zone only, so it is very easy to use the application. And after that, designing for all Indian regions is also important. In India, there is the tier one city, tier two, and tier three cities. So in the village also nowadays the user can order food easily, and in metro cities also. So this supports the local restaurants, and then it is also offering us a region specific discovery. Then, as I talked that in all over India, some of the area has a low bandwidth, so it is a lightweight and fast loading. And then there are different languages and payment flexibilities also. The core UI principles behind Zomato is like speed over beauty. They need very fast UI decisions, and then after that clarity over features. It gives a very clear and sharper decisions. And then the trust as a UX element, like visible signals and the safety guarantees also. And then habit based design, like repeated flows, smart defaults, and predictive lists. As a designer, so the design learnings for all of us is like design for a real behavior, base designs on research, rather than assumptions. We don't have to make the assumptions. We have to design as a user centric, to keep the user at the center, and then reduce cognitive load. It should be very simply designed. And then after make the trust visible. As I talked earlier, we have to keep the ratings upfront, and then the reviews upfront, so that it can build the trust more. And then contacts over trend, so it can prioritize local infrastructure, culture, payment, and device constraints. After that, Zomato identifying this, so they identified the problem that user need the products urgently. So they identified, and from what to eat, they introduced that I need this now. So they introduced Blinkit. It is the urgency based UX. Like a traditional e-commerce browsing felt too slow, so we can order in a quick second from quick like in from the Blinkit, and in very less time, in 10 minutes, the grocery are at home. And it also seeing through Blinkit, it is less browsing and more finding. So unlike food delivery, grocery is about utility. The UX remove discovery fluff in favor of search efficiency. And then transparency as a feature. Live tracking isn't just a map, it promise keeper. And they showed that arriving in 5 minutes and arriving in 2 minutes, so it builds the trust, and with a high frequency reordering. Keeping in that mind, the I had also prepared, I learned from the Zomato's UI, and to keep the better UX, I had designed a project named Ally Trim. So it is an UI. Let me just share this. Yeah, so this is an application. I had keeping offers at the top, and then there is the my appointments. So if we click on my appointments, I had this all upcoming appointments is there. So this is basically a salon scheduling app. If there are salons, like there are recommended salons and salons near you. So if I want to book an appointment to a salon, so it is very easily, I can directly search here, and there is like a filter chip also, so we can filter it easily. And here are the auto scrolling banner. So if there are upcoming offers are there, so it can be displayed here also. And there are recommended salons also. And if we like this, so we can all favorite this also. So if I want to book this salon like style studio, so I simply go inside this and then read the reviews and see the photo and this services, and also there is available like offer availables and all. So I can simply click on book now. So this is like the booking page, what I have to book, what services I should select, and then styling, and then this is the select date selection, what I should select, and then this is like what time, what slot are available. And then here also like we have seen in Zomato and Blinkit also apply coupon. And then after that, this is the order summary, simple order summary, and here is a simple payment method. So we can like view booking and then like confirm the appointment, and this that shows the pop-up that your booking is confirmed. So keeping in mind that the as simple and quick how Zomato UI is uh, made. So so this is like the minimal decision steps, and then there are the trust based batches also, as you had seen, and then it is like speed focused flow. Like in minimum 4 to 5 clicks, you can book your appointments. So what we have learned is like for designing for Indian means designing for a reality, not assumption. We had to keep in mind that to make the users first, and then we should have the context first, and then there should be simplicity always, that Indian users are not like that lots not like more booming more features on the at a single app. So yeah, thank you.
That was a great wrap to the lightning talks. Thanks, Yash. Chats, let's appreciate all of our contributors with some emojis. Now we'll move into an open discussion. But yeah, first of all, thanks a lot to Kevil, Manoj, and Yash, all of our contributors, to let us go through all these pretty case studies that you presented over with us. And now we'll move into an open discussion like Q&A round. And if you have any questions for the speakers around today's topics, please drop them in the chat, or you can just raise your hand and we'll let you unmute yourselves. And also tag the along with the names that you want to ask questions for. And Hani will be moderating this segment, and contributors can jump in to answer as well. The floor is all yours, Hani.
Yeah. Everyone, now it's your chance to come up with questions and drop any thoughts that you have. Anyone on the chat?
I did see some hands raising during the talk, so yeah, you guys can go on right now.
I encourage everyone to ask the question. Don't be shy. I know you are not on camera. It's a little bit shyness, but let's get rid of this shyness. Okay? You are in the design field. If you shy of asking a question, how would you do your user research? How would you navigate? Feel free to ask the question. Don't think that it is good question or not. Okay, every question has some answers. So please
We are
fire.
here to simply, discuss things. Nothing is right, nothing is wrong. So we are here to share our perspectives. So please go ahead and share your thoughts, any questions, any queries that you have to any of the speakers or any of the FOF team members.
Yes, yes. Anand, yeah, we'll share a WhatsApp group in the end. Yeah, no worries. Also, we can like revise over the discussions going on and during the start by Vraj. Like how he mentioned, the main reason why UPI works because the buyer wants to use the online payments, but the seller charge some 2 to 3% to
Yeah.
the platform. According to me, right now, I also heard that merchants are going to be like priced above, like more tax basically that it was previously, and they are now switching again to traditional payments and stuff. What are your thoughts on it, Manoj?
So okay, it's the rumor I'm hearing from a lot of time that even UPI would be charged and all that. Some confusion was there, but RBI has clearly mentioned in there after those rumors that okay, we are not in the, like right now we are not charging anything to the merchant. It was like operational cost that they want to say, but RBI think at that time stepped in because they are saving billions of dollars. So why can't they provide that billions of dollars to run the UPI network? But no. But the question or the discussion on that topic that yeah, if you do the transaction via credit card or debit card, generally merchant pays somewhere between 1.5 to 3% based on what network they are using, Mastercard, Amex or Visa, as well as the country of payment. And that's why merchant were hesitant to accept it. And yeah, UPI is not charging anything. That is the biggest boost. So UPI, which is run by NPCI, they would think twice before coming into again this chargeable model, because it will be the same as like what Mastercard and Visa network are facing, right? Currently, UPI transaction has surpassed even the Visa, right? And if they again bring back the subscription model, it will again UPI would be less adopted, and they don't want to. So they will find something, either government subsidy or grant or whatever RBI can help them. But I think charging UPI, that will again, then yeah, adoption would be very less compared to what we are seeing. And even though one might argue that okay, cards are charging 2%, UPI charging 0.75%, but basically the Indian merchant don't want to pay anything. Okay, even the box that they are using, sometimes they after the promotion of 1 year they return the boxes. Okay, so it would be very hard to predict this kind of move, but as long as UPI is free, people will believe in the digital economy. Otherwise, it would be again the challenges to NPCI as well as all the banks and players out there.
Yeah.
Cool. So I do see a question for Hani. You did you notice any design like challenges that Indian
Challenges
teams
that
face
Indian
more
teams
than
faces more than global teams. So I think there are two things which I personally believe that Indian teams face when compared to the global teams. First is accessibility in terms of the language, because India has so many languages, and there are states wherein people know only their native languages and they don't know the basic Hindi or English. So that's a thing wherein a challenge comes in to provide the applications or the products into their native languages. That is the first one. The other one I think is that is in terms of technology, wherein we, like, our generation is really very used to with the technology things, but the generation of our parents, I think they are not used to these technology things. So the challenge on the Indian level is that we have to make it so easy to use that that generation can also use, because when we compare that to the global people and the global audience, because they are, I think, very much used to these technology, like, not exactly, but they are much ahead of us in terms of technology. So I think that these are the two things that I think we do face on the Indian space when compared to the global teams. Yeah.
yes, that was pretty clear. Yep. So next question we have is from Shivani. How do you design when you don't have users data? I guess it is a general question. So anyone from you, if you want to address that, Yash, Kevil, Manoj, like if in the initial phases, even I feel I have designed via that like
Yeah.
research purposes, like you generate data or stuff. So yeah, you can walk through your process of designing in that situation.
So I like to answer this question. Initially, before, what I used to do is I was a UI designer. So I named myself UX, but it is pretty much UI designer, where I didn't took any user inputs or nothing like that, blindly copying designs and putting out there. So when I got an idea where user inputs are really important, questionnaires are really important, what sort of testing you do, it's really important. In those scenarios, I look around myself what environment I was sitting in. So if I was working at an office, I used to collect data from people who might have known about that particular application, and if they didn't know, that is much better. So they would have a fresh idea, they would have different perspective. And in a scenario where you are working by yourself, where you don't have any co-workers or nothing like that, I pretty much went to my family straight away. So any sorts of data I used to get them from. So before, I used to work for a company where they were designing a competitor for Uber, right? In that scenario, it was something like that. I used to ask the drivers when I was booking an Uber. So, what issues do you face? What something like anything related to drivers. So I used to call my friends over there. Hello, do you have any issues with this? Have you faced any issues with Uber or something like that? So I used to collect within my environment where it was much related. And when I didn't had any insights, I used to go to Perplexity and ask them some research and subreddits and social forms might work like a charm. Yeah. So that was my process pretty much.
Okay. I want to add little bit on what Kale said. So if you are working alone, definitely you might not have teammates, right? But nowadays AI there, you can play. There is a role play in the AI. Okay, you can ask your ChatGPT, Cloud, Perplexity, whatever you that. Okay, I am designing for this kind of user. You act as a them. Okay, if you are designing for, let's say, a food delivery application, tell them that you are a foodie, you want to order online, whatever is your persona. Okay, persona is there just to answer this question. Previously, we did not had this kind of AI and all that. That's why persona was being created. That when you design, you ask yourself that if I am a teacher and I am doing this application, will my problem solve? Nowadays, you have this AI. Okay, so role play with it. Ask the question, ask your hypothesis, ask your assumption, whatever you have. And believe me, 70-80% time it will help you in that. Sometimes it might go in the wrong direction, but you have to judge. Okay, because user are also the same way. If you ask that, okay, what kind of feature you want in online grocery store, they will say we want free delivery all the time. That is not viable, right? That's the user want, but you also have to be reasonable. So play with the AI tools, do this role play and everything, ask the question. And sometimes there are companies who have the actual user. You can ask them that, okay, can I get the access to user? There are a lot of things involved, particularly when you're working with US based client, their primary audience might be US. So you might have that barrier that, okay, would I get the user or not? As well as stakeholder are your tertiary user. Okay, it's not their actual user, but they might have the context that why they are building this application or why they are redesigning or whatever feature they are adding. They are not something that comes that, okay, let's create an app. They might have some idea, they might have heard something, they might have done their basic research. Okay, so ask the question to them as well. Sometimes they will also able to answer your hypothesis or something. But you don't have to just start opening the Figma and let's start with login screen and the onboarding screen. Just do basic research, ask the question to stakeholder, family, friend, colleague. So it will help you a lot. Suhel, you has raised your hand. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, so I guess you covered everything, Manoj, pretty much. And like, I'll just add that, like, yeah, making right assumptions at right place also would help you define your audience, right? So you can like focus on your user more than like, let's say you might know the standard data points, and I add, as Manoj said, what you can do is like play with AI, create personas from there. Try framing a hypothesis which you will be validating every time again when you are like, does that hypothesis solves your problem or not, or sorry, does your solution validates your hypothesis or not? So yeah.
So I think Vasoya Janvi has a question that, since I have started designing, everybody says it's just a screen, anybody can design. I'll also learn Figma with some tutorials. So I want to ask everybody who has anybody else faced that. I think you have the answer now, Janvi, with the last few like last minute discussion that we had, that just don't start with Figma, do a basic research, as Manoj said, that it's all in the research and the design thinking that you do. So only learning Figma, it's just a tool. You can always learn from anything, like you can always use any tool, but what matters is the design thinking that you have. So everybody does not have that. So yes, the designers, when they have that, so it's not about the tool.
Right. And
Next,
on
yeah.
top of that, right, so you have micro oven, but what would you cook? You need to do the basic. What are some ingredient I have? So same is design. UI is not the just
Yeah.
a lone sector in the design. There is user research, then there is the brainstorming ideas, and then UI. Even after creating UI, you have to do the user testing. Okay, there is a lot of things that covers the whole product thinking. Okay, from research to final dev handoff, and even after that, it doesn't end there. Even after product is created, you have to test that product from your design perspective. Is it pixel perfect? Is it solving my problem? Right? So never think that just creating the UI will help me as a designer. Think beyond the UI, UX and QA and all those things.
One more thing I'll add that the one thing that I talked in my presentation about Debabrata Nayak, he started the DigiLocker app with a PowerPoint presentation. He shared that in his talk. So imagine, like, in place of Figma, he started with a PowerPoint presentation, and that's how he ideated it. So again, similarly, it's not about the tool; it's the design idea that he had. Okay, who's next? Kevil, there's a question to you. What changes do you think is required to upscale the UX in subscription module for Indian users?
Um, okay. So in terms of like changes when we think, right, when subscription models are introduced, basically. So initially we always think that's a piece out of our pocket. So in terms for users, when they really want to feel that, okay, this is really worth it. First of all, the features would come in, then it is transparency. I see another question that over here, like how important is transparency? I think it would answer it over here. So transparency is basically explicit. It's not implied within the system, right? And the reason to make it explicit, it's really in a way where you are giving user a trust and giving users some sort of trust or viewpoints where they really rely on the application. That is a good point. So transparency, obviously, it's a way where, for example, app shows 99 rupees a month and checkout also says 99 rupees, no surprise, no text line. That is the base point where you have won the user. For example, Netflix shows cancel anytime right next to the buy button. So it is not hidden anywhere. So the main point is that you don't have to hide something in terms of to get users out of it. Instead, you have to put it in a way where users feels trusted. You have to be true about whatever your subscription charges are, whatever your pricing and plans are. That is how we can retain users right on the subscription models. And specifically, I'd like to answer like correctly. What changes do you think is required to upscale the UX in subscription models? The base answer is transparency. And in terms of Indian users, we specifically say they don't hate paying. It's not like that they are really someone who don't like paying money, but they hate discovering. Instead, they just want like they shouldn't go into settings, then they go into contact us and then they email you. They don't want that. They want it right in front of you. So if you are transparent in your subscription models and throughout your application, obviously there are some dark tactics that might come, but it is for user flows and not related to checkout. But as long as you maintain that, I think you're pretty well to go with the subscription models.
Right. Did anyone had experience canceling their Airtel internet or Geo internet? Try. You will not
Yeah,
find any. That's the dark pattern, right? And that's where users are frustrated.
exactly.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you.
I think I am not able to now see the chat because the
Okay.
yeah. So I think if Suhail, you can take the questions from here because
Yeah, sure.
I was dropped from the call. I don't know how, and then I'm not able to see the questions now. There were two or three questions that were
Sure.
asked.
No worries. I'll just take this one. What changes do you think is required to upscale the UX in subscription module for Indian users? It was to Kevil.
I think we pretty much did that right now. So
I,
yeah, the answer is basically as I've said before, the answer is basically maintaining a clear design, not focusing more on user interface, but focusing more on transparency, where you put your buttons, where you show everything right in front of user, and don't try to hide anything. So once you try to hide anything, user will be frustrated, as Manoj added. So in that terms, frustration is never good for an application. It would always, if you rage, if the user rage quits it, and it is very few possibilities it would come back. User would come back. So we don't want users to go permanently. So yeah, being transparent works pretty well.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. So I guess that's pretty much the all. I guess we have the last question that we can cover up before wrapping is how much discount work on the Indian users? Like the product is for 100, many platforms sell it for 150 and add discount or limited stock. So it's for UK, will I guess. And like maybe I have seen this practiced by Mokobara. If you have seen like all
Yeah.
entire year 365 days they'll have one or the other sale and they'll just give you 1 hour to like buy or make the decision before like you to sign up the flow. Yeah, so I'll let you answer, Kevil.
Yeah. So in these terms where, for example, how much discounts work. So I don't think so there's a fixed amount for it. Where for Indian users, the more we show them value, the more we show them need. That this is what you need, and obviously there's always alternatives for that. But why would you buy this particular product? It's not about showing them, okay, this is for few lesser price. Obviously, lesser price would attract them. But mainly and generally, it's more about how you show the product pricing as well as what value to give them. So in terms of a product is a high valued product and you want it listed in every single application in every single products, and it is much higher than you have expected, so you would think first, okay, should it is really important for me, should I buy it? These are the questions the user asks themselves. So if those answers are pretty much ticked in every single way, and at the end, I think the discount comes. Because when I personally buy, and I've seen this particular case study, I've seen in multiple friends of mine, they think that is it really useful for me, or do I really need it? Or at the end, the discount particularly comes in where they might add some coupon code or they might add student discount to it. So yeah, pretty much it's like how do you show the value of the product within your user interface, and how do you get users to that particular page of the product? That is really important. So I think that might have answered your question.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, that's I've pretty much covered that. Thanks, Kevil. Yeah, so
mm,
passing on to Srujal for concluding the session.
Sure. So thanks everyone for answering all these insightful questions. And yeah, I will also take more questions. You or the WhatsApp will all yours. You can drop in over there. Contributors are there, and they'll answer whatever questions you have over there. So next, we'll take a quick group photo. So please turn on your cameras if you are comfortable. We'll give it a few seconds for everyone to join in. So yeah, if you are comfortable, do join in with us in this group photo for the event. We'll give it just few more seconds for everyone to join in. Your host here, Sujal Shah. Hello, everyone. So, yeah, we'll just wait for 15 more seconds if everyone wants to just turn on the cameras. Okay, so is everyone ready? On the count of three. Three, two, one. Cool. That's one more. If you want to just say cheers or a thumbs up, anything works. So yeah, three, two, and one. Thank you guys. Thank you again. So yeah, we'll just walk around for a few more information that I'd like you to know. I'll just present my screen. Let me know if it is visible. Okay. So yeah, I hope I'm visible right now. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just first of all thank you to all of our contributors, Manoj, Kevil, and Yash, and also Suhail and Hani for immensely leading this session with their expertise. And yeah, we'll be soonly rolling out applications for the team recruitment process, and we, as you can see, we are looking for community event coordinator, marketing and partnership, creative designer, and content and storytelling strategies, in order to like mix these skills and help along with the community in order for us to move operations more smoothly. So yeah, and also let us know how was the event. We'll love your feedback on it. As you all know, not only the organizers curate that event, it's everyone who makes it memorable. And with your feedback, we are able to make it more valuable and provisional for all of you. So yeah, do share your feedback with us. I'll also share this link to you on WhatsApp group in a while. And yep, see you on the next year, and join our WhatsApp group to stay updated. If anyone wants the link, you can just scan this QR code over here. Yep. So if I saw someone asking for the link over there. And yeah, if you
I
want,
think sorry to interrupt, but one of the members, I'm doing it for them. Anjali has asked this question 2 times, so
sure,
it's
sure.
I got to
We'll
respond. I cannot stop my to respond.
totally. I was gonna say
Yeah,
that we are going to continue this session as well, and I just had to address some things before that. So yeah, we can just continue from now on. No worries. Yep. There we
yeah.
go.
So Anjali, in terms of like answering your question, like how do we get users onboarded in a seamless way and in a way where it doesn't feel like a featureless button based experience? So in these terms nowadays in AI and basically other SaaS platforms, there are credit based subscriptions going on where you show them trial period and you show them what real application is. And instead of showing them to the graphical places where it is feature driven and it is just list of features showing you what you can get without even giving you that. So I think like throwing them into a free trial version where everything is logged, but they can roam around the true space. They can get few data out of it. And I think this is what ChatGPT does. They let you get in some prompts, getting some replies, and then there's a user limit. So that's a good example. What I would do if I want to get a user, I would let it use it for free, and at the end, finally, when everything is at a great scale, the user is loving it. I would put a small prompt that your credits are about to reach maximum. You can upgrade your plan, or you can just it's your decision. So yeah, I think that that is how we can drive users to more subscriptions.
Nicely answered, Kevil. So yeah, any more questions? You guys can just drop it in the chat, and yep, we can take it from there. I guess we did like miss a question over here over for you, Kevil. How important is transparency in pricing and cancellation flows for Indian audiences? I think we kind of did address it, but yeah, if you want to go on ahead with that, that will be great.
Yeah, I think like transparency is in pricing. I did mention it earlier, so I pretty much think it is clear. But cancellation flows in terms of I would love the flow for Netflix where it clearly puts a cancel button right in front of the buy button or like continuing the I can say subscription. And the good thing where it is not related to platform, but when you receive an email from Netflix that you have been charged for this, or you have been you wanted to do you want to charge, or after a few days it be charged, there's an option to cancel your subscription. So it is mentioned in one of the links, but it is in the email template that we receive on our business email or whatever we have connected. So that is one of the ways when you can put it out right in front. So it is not like that you have to hide the cancel button. It's not like you have to hide under settings, then go to the contact us, and then they email you to, then you email them, as Manoj mentioned, Airtels and Geos. It is really difficult to, just get out of the that subscription. So instead, it's just putting where exactly your pricing is pricing is there. And additionally, where your current plan details are there, there should be a clear CTA to cancel your button. If not CTA, a small link next to the button so that it is easier for them as well to get out of the system. And yeah, and every cancel subscription would be a good user insight. Obviously, we have a lot of tracking on whatever the user has done. So why the user canceled, what was the reason, it is also important for us. And it is a saying in Hindi, जो जाने वाला उसको रोक नहीं सकते. All we can do is get inside out of them, and if we can stop them, they might get in earlier. We don't have to think about users who are eventually going to leave. So yeah, that is the answer.
I guess we did get one more question over here by Rahul. I'm curious what AI tools everyone's using for UI design, research, or anything else daily. I'm kind of stuck on Lovable GPT, Claude, and Figma AI right now. Okay. I guess you all will be able to answer this over here. Like, what flows do you use, and how do you use AI in your design?
Right. So I can take that first part. So tools, okay, there are a lot of tools like Lovable and Figma Make, right? These are the no-code tools, right? Whereas ChatGPT and Claude are conversational UI. But uh, so admittedly, I have tried, and I have already currently have the subscription of this for different purpose. So Claude is good when you want to do the brainstorming in terms of UX design, or you want a snippet of some ideas that you might have that you want to draw. Whereas if you put that, okay, I want to create this kind of app or this kind of screen, ChatGPT will just create the PNG or JPEG. It will not create the actual model. Whereas Claude will give you that interaction, that will clickable and all that. So if you want to use most of the AI tools for brainstorming, Claude or Figma Make would be good. Whereas Lovable, V0, and Replit, these are the no-code tools which are very good for developer. But as a designer as well, we can utilize this tool to create a quick idea. Or if you want to, let's say you have two ideas or two different directions that you want to opinion from either user or the stakeholder for the A/B testing or whatever purpose. You can create this quick snippet, okay? That okay, this is my idea, this is the structure, or this is the different UI, and you can do the quick UI testing before creating the Figma design. So purpose, it depends on your purpose. There is no one tool. Okay, you can utilize the tool based on your state, in which stage of design process you are, or whichever subscription we can afford. Or even with the free, we can get 5 in Lovable, and Figma Make also give few credits and all that, right? But there is no single tool which will fulfill all the requirement that we as a designer might have. Okay, for other purpose it can be right, but for as a designer we need different tool at a different stage. This is my personal experience, and this is what in our organization currently we are using. We trust the Claude for brainstorming and doing the depth research, whereas we use the Figma Make for quick prototyping, testing with user or the internal user or the external user.
Yeah, I would agree to that. Figma Make is really helpful in terms of like creating a quick prototype and testing. And plus that the best tool, it's an irony, guys, but the best tool right now out there, it's this, a pen and a paper. So at the end, being a UX designer, I think for me, only efficient stuff is reports. And in terms of reports, I mean like what user has driven, the research, the raw research that people have done on, I can say subreddits or any forums. So we can get information out of, and after that, it is our job to get some real insights and make it into visual, and after that into an experience. So to get some inspiration out of it, I use the link that I've just shared, the Refero design. So I bought a subscription for that. Obviously, I was one of those people who bought it and I got into that trap. But yeah, Refero and such type of products where there's a real use case showcase and where these sort of like stuff is used and where what is the pricing page design, and it is always like inspirations. So rather than dribble and any other stuff, I go to the live showcases where it is live website. And yeah, and then it's a famous terms in design that copy like a designer. So that is what I do. I have information, I have inspiration, and the next is just pen and paper. So yeah, GPT and everything works for research, but not design, I think.
Thanks, Kevil and Manoj, for answering that. I guess we'll just take this one last question by Vraj over here. How can we overcome the perfection of the design? Like many times we make 10 drafts of the same frame but end up with the first or second draft where we started. So how do we decide that this is enough for now? Let's do some testing, or should we use AI for that? Yeah.
I think it's a big myth where perfection never comes into design. So every time I look into my designs, I feel like there's a lot of things I got to do. I have a ton load of ideas. I have new stuff every single time I look at design. So every time it's new things. So I think like it's not about perfection. It's about speed, quality, and cost. So how much it costs you? So if you are one of the founders or designers, what speed does it give to users and what quality does it provide? So if it provides more than 80% in every single thing, then 80% speed, 80% quality, and 80% cost is everything is covered, then it is pretty good. Don't go into like perfection and pixel perfect design. At the very end, what matters it's like it's efficient enough and it is like live out there. People are using it, people are loving it, people are providing feedback. That is what I think should you should go for. And always go for the imperfect versions. Never in design, I don't think the perfection exists.
I'll share one thing which I usually do is, take a note of what you thought of for the second idea. Take a note of it, and then later on, once everything is done, your design is built. Just go ahead and have a look at that, and then you can compare that. It is now out in the market. It is deployed. How are the users taking it, and what you thought of it? So that will give you a very good comparison, and that will give you confidence as well that were you right or wrong, or how much you were right or wrong. So yeah, do that activity.
100% agree.
And one thing I want to add, I'm not sure. 10 drafts, that sounds too many. Even if you read the Nielsen Norman psychology, after 3 to 5 iteration, you would be repeating most of the thing. Okay. If you are creating 10 drafts, you look at the last five, you might have changed the color or placement of here, but there won't be any different experience for the user. Mostly you would be playing with UI. Generally 2 or 3 is good. And yeah, sometimes we might get those kind of client who when we saw something they might, oh, something is missing. They might not have exact idea what is missing. They might say, oh, it's not looking intuitive, or no, this is not good. These are the vague kind of answer, and you would hear a lot. Okay. You would hear this kind of idea a lot, but then try to probe that what is not working exactly. Find that pain point that they have. Okay. And okay, is it the color, is it the graphics that I have used, is it the content? And try to probe this kind of question rather than just asking, okay, let me create a second iteration. Don't agree directly. Okay, it is not good, let me. What would you create in the second draft or third draft if you don't probe this question? Okay, so always ask the question to stakeholder that if they are not liking any of the draft, what is missing? Okay, and sometimes there might be some rigid client as well, who even after 20 iteration will not like anything. Then you need to show that, okay, with some user testing that they have not provided, but you have done your own, that okay, these are the draft I have tested with user and this is the feedback from user. Sometimes that has helped us as well, that okay, then once they see the proof or some statistic, they agreed on the design. So anything that you can salvage, but after 2 3 drafts it's too more.
So I think that brings us to the end of today's session. So any more questions or anything you'd like to share over here? Now's the time, guys. And lastly, I also want you to tell that let's stay connected over the community. Here's the WhatsApp group link on your screen, and feel free to join to stay updated on future events and discussions. And thank you so much to our contributors, the team for today's session, and our mods, Pat Soni and Neil Patel over here, for letting us run this event very smoothly. Hope you are leaving with fresh perspectives on India first design and product thinking. Have a great night and see you at the next Friends of Figma Vadodara event. Bye bye, you guys.
Thank you
Bye.
Bye.
everyone. Bye
You've been
bye.
a great
Have a
audience,
great night,
guys.
everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot to you, everyone.